Well, it seems Lord of the Rings brought another game to Steam that is an absolute pile of garbage. Well, it seems Lord of the Rings Gollum is getting completely eviscerated through the reviews. Metacritic have it at a 40 for the Metascore, which is not good. The critic reviews are extremely negative for this game. The top critic score being a 70, which is not very good. IGN was even reporting on this thing as an absolute disaster of a game. So from Gaming Trend, just like Gollum, I'm a bit split. The Lord of the Rings Gollum features a great story that adds to the lore, along with a terrific stealth system, but it misses the mark in other areas. A finicky and redundant platforming system mixed with the dialogue system that lacks bite makes for a combination that drags the rest down. Gollum is always so close to the ring, but ever so far. And from what I'm seeing, the storyline starts with Gollum being captured and made to work in a mine for like the first half of the game, where you sit there and you trap pigs and you raise a bird. You raise a pet as Gollum. You don't eat the pet, you raise it. And apparently that's how he escapes. It doesn't sound like a very good version of Gollum, how he was interrogated by the Nazgul and by Sauron's army and things like that. And then he escapes because of his want for the ring. But it just sounds like you're going through the motions, and it's not a very fun, and it sounds like it's a buggy nightmare of a game. We're needing, once again, a day one update for this game. This is an ongoing issue with new giant games that are coming out there on the market. And we got Shinobi 602. We got Shinobi 602 here on Twitter breaking down the entire review scores that have come out, and it looks ugly. So TechRaptor being the top at 6.5. 6.5 for a game that's muchly anticipated for a lot of people. A lot of people were hyped about this movie. There's a lot going on. And then it going down to like a 2 from GameSpot. The Guardians, a 1 out of 5. Games Radar, 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5 for Hardcore Gamer. And Metacritic score at a 40 or 38. OpenCritic at a 40. There's so many people that are so many outlets that are just rating this thing so badly that it looks like it's not going to perform very well. It's like super bad. Well, after being delayed as well too. Like best game of the year and worst game of the year in 2 weeks. This game has gone from up and down. It's I know a lot of people were looking out for this one. They had it on their radar and they were hoping for something great, but it seems that it's not that good. And then if we go over to Steam to take a look at it, of course the trailer's here. This thing is $70 Canadian, and it is with 35 reviews here, it is mostly negative. 25% of them are saying it's positive. Let's take a look at these reviews. This isn't a game. This is an experience. This isn't even torture test for your PC. It's a torture test for the games industry as a whole to see how much BS we're willing to put up with these garbage companies milking us for all we're worth. Now, I do have to say, I prefer indie developers. I don't know this developer. It is done by a Daedalic Entertainment and Nancon. To me, they're not that widely known. If I go into their portfolio of games, it's nothing that I really recognize too much. Like, I do recognize a couple of the artwork styles, but it's nothing I've ever played and nothing I've seen before. So to me, this feels like it was an indie game that's just gone completely wrong. But once again, this was one that was hyped up a ton. There was a lot of people that really wanted to see this game and really wanted to see it succeed because it was a Lord of the Rings and it was the story of Gollum. But you can see here on the live broadcast above, it's not. It doesn't look like you're running around. Oh, they got a little cutscene there where he's flying through the air and people are looking for him, and the movements just are going very slowly. So to me, this looks like another attempt at like what happened with Dark Alliance for the Wizards of the Coast version of a game where the blur motion was there. It's just you can't turn it off as well. And it's just not looking that good. And then on top of it, for a lot of the things in the game, they paywalled emotes. They made emotes as part of the paywall. Can I go in here? Yeah, so you get some emotes with this if you pay an extra $4 for downloadable content. Then they have a lore compendium where it actually notates every part of the game. So it's like the checklist of the game. You now have to pay extra for it at $6.99. Then there's an art exhibition for $10.99. Like what? What? So they've taken a bunch of things, a bunch of extras that just happened to be made for this game, and they put them, said, if you want these extras, you've got to pay for them. Not include them in the base game for $70. Yes, this is Canadian prices. But I got to say, making it where the little bookmarks and the little emotes that you could have in this game that would make it much more enjoyable for that price, it just seems that this is one of those games that it seems that they're trying to milk every single penny off the back of it being a Lord of the Rings game. Looking at what's required for this game, a recommended of a 3070 GTX graphics card. I run a 3070 Ti, so for recommended, this is on the top end of things that are out there on the market. I know a lot of people have the 4090s out there, which, ooh la la, spending $2,000 on a video card. But that shouldn't be the way of things. Like the minimum requirements, yes, a 1080 or 1060, at least that's half decent, but that's a minimum. Now, with the 3070, they want you to have ray tracing on. Ray tracing in a game right now is just so bad. Like I think back to Five Nights at Freddy's security breach with the ray tracing and how many glitches there were with that. It was a nightmare of a game at launch, but of course that was another indie game that put it out there. Now this game is available on the PS5 at launch, and a lot of people are saying it's a buggy mess. It needs updates. The graphics, like, it's a very dark and dingy looking game, so to have this high-end video card and to do this ray tracing graphics that you need for it, it just seems like it's a waste because of how dark and dingy this game looks. A lot of people are comparing this to like a PlayStation 2 style modeling for a game. I would more say 3 maybe, but it doesn't look like it's going to be something that's going to uphold to the high level of graphics that it's asking for. With everything else being partitioned with this, where you got to buy all these extra little things just to get some enjoyment out of the game, you got to sit there and wonder really what they were aiming to do here. It's not one of these games that, it's so bad with these reviews. Like one person, he played it for 0.2 hours, he gave it trash. Like the first one that we read there, Icy Chris, he's actually a YouTuber. He's fairly decent, and I would take his judgment on this if he is playing this. It does not look good. It looks like a buggy mess. It looks like a disappointment. Last time I was this disappointed was No Man's Sky. Now, No Man's Sky did make their way back into the good graces because they actually updated the game and did a lot of things to the game. But once again, this is where it looks like a game is in early access, and then later on down the line, it might be better. So is this an early access style game that's being marketed as a complete game again? And hopefully that's not the case, but to me, it looks like they're trying to milk the consumer for every little penny they can get just to keep this game going. Anyway, I'm your proud Canadian Phoenix Cineshadow. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you again very soon.